On this episode, we're back with another Main Street Magic Community Q&A. Today is September 23rd, 2022, and this is episode 498 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic Community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We know that it can be extremely frustrating and overwhelming when you are trying to book your Disney dining at either Disneyland or Walt Disney World, but do not worry, Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. If you visit msmfriends.com, you can use this free service. And then if you're getting ready to plan that next Disney or Universal vacation, you're looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. And super excited. As we just said, this is episode 498, which means that 500 is right around the corner.
That's amazing.
And we would love for y'all to be involved. So if you call 386-866-0236 and leave a message with your name, where you are from, and what is your one true Disney wish, you may be featured on that 500th episode. So in the introduction, I almost said I'm joined by my lovely first mate, Rhonda. And why is that? It's the 23rd.
We are recording on Thursday, the 22nd. And at this time tomorrow, when y'all are hopefully listening to this lovely episode, we will have ordered our Starbucks. We will have been there and hopefully right about now headed on to Port Canaveral.
Yeah.
To board the Disney Wish.
I'm so super excited. I can't believe it's
I am too.
Almost here.
I didn't sleep good last night, but I don't know. It's so funny. I had a client tell me yesterday, she was so enthusiastic and vividly excited for me, and she got like chills, and she's like, you're gonna have so much fun. She goes, sleep when you're home.
Yeah.
And I'm like seriously? Like, I thought things shut down. I was like, what? She's like, there's movies that go on all night, and there's this, and I'm like, okay.
I know you'll get your naps in, and that'll probably be part of our review episode, is the best places to take a nap
on a cruise ship,
on a Disney cruise. But yeah, I am super duper excited. We are opting not to pay for the extra internet. And so we are going to take a bit of a mental break, but we will be gathering a ton of content to share once we're back. A lot of that content will go on our regular social media channels at Main ST Magic, and a ton more content will go within Wonderland Crew and our Patreon group. You can always check that out at wonderlandcrew.com. And
here's why, because it is over $200 for 3 days.
Yeah. So they have all these, and one of the things we will report on is the varying internet packages. Actually, Dustin from Mouse Dining, his wife sent me an incredible spreadsheet that he put together that lists every option. He actually tested each of the options. You can see what your rates are, your download speeds, and honestly, looking at them, some of them you can get for like 20 to 30 a day, but even looking at the download and upload rates, it would be kind of a nightmare still to live stream and to upload video and all. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We are going to make some specific time to gather content, because we certainly will report on that. And then when we get back after the 500th episode, we're going to do at least a 2-part series on the Wish. One will be centered around more of our experience as adults with a bunch of friends going.
Yes.
The second episode will be all about the kids clubs. We'll have Kaylin and Lacey on. We can get their experience.
Yes.
They have been tasked with gathering some content as well. So we'll see how they do
Hopefully
with that.
they do good.
But leading up into 500, about once a quarter, we like to do a Main Street Magic community from Facebook Q&A, where listeners and all can ask us questions pretty much about anything Disney, Universal, podcasting, what is the meaning of life, whatever they choose. And we had such an abundance of questions that we are going to split this into 2 parts. So it works out perfectly. This will be episode 498, 499. Episode 500 will be our Disney wish. And then 501, 502, we'll get into our reviews of the Wish, and then we've got DizCon coming up. We've got Epcot After Hours, another Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. We're actually next 3 weekends are straight up Disney.
We'll see how that goes and coincides with some storms.
Yeah, and I don't even know what. Right now, it's still Invest 98 or whatever it is coming through. So we're lucky we dodged Fiona. Hopefully, anybody who was affected by it is doing okay out there in the Caribbean and all. But let's get right into some of our questions. We've got some really good ones today. If you don't hear your question today, that just means it's going to be on the next episode. So first, from David. I actually love this question. This is going to be a good conversation. He says, is it worth investing big money for an expensive sit-down dinner at Disney World, considering the high odds of sitting next to a table with loud kids?
Oh, wow.
It's a really, really good question.
That is a good question. And honestly, David, I'm going to say, yes, it's worth it, because the off chances of that really happening, has been like 1 in
let's just say
5 years. Because I remember Flying Fish. That's what comes to mind.
And that was 5 years ago.
Yep.
And I would say that's our only time where we felt, and we the girls were much younger. They stayed at home that trip. It was a birthday trip.
Correct.
We went to see Maroon 5.
Yes.
We stayed at the boardwalk with John and Michelle, and we had Flying Fish as kind of my birthday dinner. And there was a table behind us where both kids were on iPads with the volume at full blast.
Yes.
The kids were fine. The iPads, not so much.
Right.
And that only lasted, I think, maybe through our appetizer.
Because then they were finishing up and then they were leaving.
And here's what I would say, as Rhonda just pointed out, is that in the past 5 years, and let's just say that we do 1 table service, nice sit down a month. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's right there. We're upwards of 60 meals. Possibly more, that we've had 1 experience that maybe slightly hindered it to begin with.
Yeah.
What I will say is that in general, from our experience, Topolino's, Cali Grill, Flying Fish, Yachtsman, Tiffin's, Narcoossee, Citricos, some of these fine signature dining, you don't tend to see children as often as you do when you're going to, let's just say, the Bomas and the Tusker House or Whispering Canyon, the ones that are much more family oriented.
Right.
So I think that can go a little bit into what you're thinking is, where are you booking?
Right. Second
one is, it's going to make a lot of difference if you book a 5 p.m. dinner or you book a 9 p.m. dinner.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
What kids are going out at 9 p.m. potentially.
Right.
I also do find, again, I'm just going to keep saying from our experience, because that doesn't mean that it's factual, at these nicer, more expensive, fine signature dining restaurants at Walt Disney World, kids tend to be a little more well-behaved at these sit-downs because their parents are telling them.
Yes,
right?
And I was just going to say, we have seen multiple kids.
Our own.
Exactly, our own. But, we've been sat next to other kids, and, they're so cute. And a lot of times, if they are watching an iPad, it is so cute because it is turned down. Or now they have headphones, of course. And, and to me, I feel like, your kid.
Yeah.
And, I remember we were waiting for Epcot, the fish that swim.
A coral reef.
Thank you. I'm like,
fish that swim, as opposed to the ones that just stand still all day.
I'm thinking where you can see them. Yeah. It's really nice. Yep. Is that considered defined?
I don't believe that falls under signature.
But it's
fine. But it's certainly a nicer
restaurant. It's very
restaurant.
nice. Yeah. But families and stuff can be there.
Great for families.
I was standing there waiting, and this woman came up, and she was like, we have and I think it was around help me out because I think you were standing there too, 5-6 o'clock dining reservation. And she's like, my kids are done.
Yeah.
And she was like, and I don't think we're coming back. And at this point, of course, you want to go and speak to somebody like that so you don't get charged.
Yeah.
And she just was like going on and telling about her kids. And And of course, they were like, yeah, no problem. But that's where too, like, yeah, I just feel like I think you're fine to take that chance.
Yeah.
Because hopefully it won't be that one in,
one
time.
in 100 or something. I feel like in a sense, but
again, it's so funny. We've always said too, just with kids, period, not even like dinner, just seriously, Disney has some type of magic that is just sprinkled all over the Walt Disney World area, because I remember our kids barely like broke down.
Yeah.
Our kids were amazing. And then other places I'd be like, why can't they be like this here?
Oh, I know. It's very different. And I don't know if David has children, because that certainly plays into the factor as well.
100%.
For us, it can sometimes be easier maybe to sit down and be more tolerant of louder kids, because you go, we were there once.
Yeah.
But again, I think you book at one of those fine signature dinings. You look at a little bit later in the day, or evening, and you'll probably not run into that instance. And I would not deny yourself of some of the most incredible dining experiences you can get, because you're worried about kids. Would be we could have just almost summed it up with that.
Oh, yeah.
But
sorry.
that's what I would think for that.
That was a long-winded answer.
Rhonda, you are up to bat. We've got actually 3 questions for you. First comes from Megan. First 2 come from Megan. Says, what motion sickness patches do you prefer? I heard you mention you wear one. The older I get, the more I need one. Amen. And 2, how do you keep your makeup from melting right off your face in the Florida heat while marching around those parks? So first one, motion sickness, answer for Megan.
Yeah, so it's called the scopolamine patch. And that is, I'm trying to think how my nurse girlfriend said it, external, because you put it on behind your ear. And so it does take a little bit longer for the medicine to work.
Please do not apply directly to your tongue.
Ew.
So
No.
that's why they have to say external. That's the whole purpose. Yeah. Do not apply internally.
Okay. Excuse me. So yeah, you put it behind your ear. I have 3 stars behind my ear, and I tend to put it on this one little star, and it sticks, and it's great because it stays. It is 72 hours. So it was funny because going on the cruise where I was talking with my girlfriend on when I should put it on, and so she was like, all right, you put it on Friday morning, that's Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, you're done. And I'm like, or I'd need to switch it and put another one on. I'm like, well, we will be pulled into port Monday morning, so we're good.
Yeah.
Like I said, it does take a little longer to work.
It's also prescription.
Give or take, yes, it is prescription. Sorry. Give or take, it's like 6 to 8 hours. I had some healthcare friends and clients tell me like 12 hours.
For what?
The taking to work.
Oh, to kick in?
To kick in.
But you've always done it morning of, and we've been in parks usually 2 to 3 hours later, correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yes. One time I did put it on, and I didn't realize that it took that long to work. And when I got off of Rip Ride Rocket, I was like, y'all gotta give me a second. I don't feel very good.
Yeah, I think that's anyone at this point.
No,
that ride.
No, because when I had it on prior,
it was good.
It was fine.
What are normal possible side effects, and what do you experience as a side effect?
So some normal side effects are dry mouth, not dizziness, blurry vision, and that is for me. Dry mouth kind of used to be, but I drink so much water that it's fine.
Yeah.
I did ask her, because I do have quite a few of them because I need them, if I can put them on my family. And when I say that, like more or less because my baby is 12 years old. And usually when you read any package now, it's 12 and older.
Yeah.
To take this, 12 and older, 12 and older. She did say that, yes, I could put it on Lacey, but she could have a bunch of these side effects she was explaining. And she said it tends to act like in pediatrics and older people. So I was like, okay, now it is my last resort to put this on her.
Yeah, we picked up Bo9 for the cruise.
Yes.
We'll try.
But yeah.
would you recommend though, just in case, for Megan, that if she gets, and first of all, they end up running about $10 a patch through the pharmacy when we get them, right?
Yes.
Roughly. Well worth every penny.
I think depending on your insurance, it might be free.
Oh,
because
could be.
It was a long time ago free for me.
Right. Would you recommend that if Megan gets these, that she puts one on while she's at home before a trip, just to see if, hey, there's could be side effects? I would just hate for someone to show up and you know what I mean? Their first day, they put it on, they're ready, they get to the parks and they experience all these side effects and go, well, shoot, I don't know which is more worth it. Getting a little motion sickness or not riding this ride or me feeling these things.
Yeah, see, and I don't know because I guess it depends on what it is worth it to you.
Yeah.
It is worth it to me to have all those side effects than to feel a little bit nauseous, to be truthfully honest.
That makes sense.
I have had other people mention they put it on and then they've had to take it off within 12 to 15 or 12 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't like the way they felt or the way they whatever. And I'm like, oh, gosh. When I first put mine on, we were on a cruise and I took Bonine and it just was not working. And I put the patch on and then I was fine the rest of the time. Yeah. And then ever since I've been to Disney and Universal, again, it's been fine. So,
okay. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Megan's second question, Rhonda. How do you keep your makeup from melting right off of your face in the Florida heat while marching around those parks? Because you always look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Is it certain products? Is it certain application? I don't know any of that stuff. I mean, I just.
Well, so I always put a sunscreen on under my makeup, if not have a sunscreen in my makeup.
And that would be that specific face, it's specific like makeup sunscreen almost?
Yeah,
like a foundation of sorts,
I usually use Neutrogena.
Okay.
And the foundation that I am using right now has an SPF 20 in it. And it is foundation because I had Jeremy pick me up some and he kind of picked up the wrong thing. I actually don't like a foundation. I tend to stick more to, I think a lot of people call it like a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer.
Okay.
And then I just have a loose powder. That's usually a mineral sheer loose powder that I just put over top of it. And then I wear, my normal, again, this is all Neutrogena products. The Neutrogena like blush and then mascara. I did switch to Thrive Cosmetics, which I really like that. I did buy, because Lacey has been getting really into makeup, a setting spray, but I only used it once, to be 100% honest.
Well, I mean, it sounds like whatever you're doing certainly is working.
Yeah.
For
me, it does.
Right,
and
exactly.
I guess when I sweat, some people will tell me that they sweat a lot, or some people, I don't tend to. And I feel like if I do, my face doesn't as much as my back or whatever does. So yeah.
Well, to go onto that question, and speaking of being sweaty, Tara then tagged on and said, what products do you recommend to keep your hair from looking like a sweaty mess? Because you got a lot of hair.
I do, and that's a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't understand how ladies wear their hair down at Disney when it is profusely hot.
Yeah.
I have definitely tried. I really have oil is my go-to always. Oil. Some people say a Moroccan oil. I love the Surface brand, and it's called Basu oil. I also like the Davines brand, and that's called Oi oil. A lot of times my hair just goes up.
Yeah.
And I do have natural curly hair.
So does it matter if it's straightened or curled? Not your natural curly. Does it help more if you straighten it, or does it not matter?
No. If I straighten it, I feel like I'm sweaty and it's going to curl up.
Right.
But then if I put it in a ponytail, it's not bad. So yeah, I just kind of.
Well, again, I mean, I think with both of those, the makeup and the hair, those are several products that have worked for you. You're in the parks all the time, so they may work just as well for everybody else that's asking that question. Next, we're going to move on to Peyton. Says, how has the podcast impacted your lives in every aspect? how would you say the podcast has impacted your life or our life? I mean, I can say for me, number one, it's the relationships and the friends.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I can tell you right now. Now, I believe that without the podcast, we would have built in probably relationships with some of our cast member friends just from being there all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that we'd have the friendships and the relationships we have that have come direct from people that happen to listen or are in the Facebook group. And then we happen to be at the same park, or at the park at the same time and met up. I mean, look at us going on this cruise this weekend. Every single person that we'll know on that cruise and that we're going with, that we planned to go on the cruise with specifically, is from the podcast.
Right.
And so for me, I think that's like the biggest thing ever.
Do you think without the podcast we would have ever met Lucy though, because her and Tina work together?
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so. I mean, it's possible that our paths would have crossed at some point, or it would have crossed in a way where Tina would have been like, hey, I work with this couple, Lucy and Caleb. They're huge Disney fans. I think you guys would really like them. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I would have had to come to that. I don't know that friendship would have come to be, you know? And so I think for me, that is like the biggest thing. It's certainly impacted in many other ways in the time that we spend. I would like to believe, because we were doing it before, a little bit before we started the podcast, we were still going to Disney every month. I would think we would still be doing that. But I look at things like...
I don't think we would.
You don't think we'd be going every month?
No.
Yeah. I mean...
If we didn't have the podcast, I think I don't think we'd go every month. I think we'd go for sure 2-3 times a year like we used to when we buy the Florida resident tickets. But I think y'all don't hate me. I think I would have put a stop to that. I think I would have been like, no, we need to do this. We need to do that, because it is a lot. And we need to do this, we need to do that, as in you would say, all right, we went to Disney last month, so this month we want to go somewhere, but we're going to go to the beach, or we're going to go to possibly Charleston, Savannah, the Key. Like, you would have possibly, but I don't know if no, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, I don't both possibly. I mean, because too, like, sometimes I don't even know how we do it every month. Right. I know. I don't either. To be 100% honest. And then it's like, well, could we literally go like to a place and then have a quote unquote vacation every month? I don't think so. Yeah, there'd probably be a lot more of smaller trips, staycation type things, a night away somewhere within 2 hours, things like that. Maybe. And then I think, we'd probably do more stuff around here and dinners and for sure. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. Every impact I think has been in a positive manner. Like, I can't really think of anything negative. I mean, it's certainly, for the most part, like, we wouldn't be doing DizCon next weekend. We wouldn't be working with Give Kids the World. Well, and that's gotten a lot bigger, and I feel like, I just feel like, wow. I mean, things are really moving along, and it's amazing, and I am blessed beyond measures to be here. And it's funny because you say you can't think of anything negative, and I wouldn't say it negative, but like, I love my car now, and I can listen to whatever I want. And it was super funny because I listened to Reba McEntire, love her, and it was the song where she basically is like works 2 jobs and loves her kids, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, that's me. Yeah. And that's the only, like, I guess, downfall / negative part on my aspect. Yeah, and it certainly impacts when we're there, based on wanting to make sure that we gather content, that we share content, that we experience new places, different places. We stay at other resorts, even though, certain ones are our favorite. So it certainly impacts, I think, the way that we do trips. I mean, as I mentioned earlier on the cruise this weekend, we're not going to get the internet, but it's not just put your phone in your room when we arrive and pick it up on Monday as we leave. Right. There's still going to be things involved that will impact the trip. And again, I'm not saying in a negative way, but it certainly impacts it when you go, all right, Rhonda, we're waking up Saturday morning and we're going to take an hour. We're going to get our coffee and we're going to take an hour and we're going to walk the ship and we're going to video content, or we're going to take photos or whatever.
Whereas without the podcast, we wouldn't do that. We'd get on the ship, we'd kick our feet up, we'd have 3 days of no work, air quote. So I think that's one of them. But yeah, for me, I mean, it's the relationships and the friendships and the fact that we're sitting here, with people asking us questions is just absolutely amazing to me.
Oh, it is.
And so I just think
blessed
it's the
beyond
coolest
measures.
thing. Very, very awesome. All right. Alice says, we're from the UK, so can't visit WDW as often as we'd like. Would you say a split stay is worthwhile in Disney or more hassle than it's worth? This year, we're doing 5 nights at Universal's Endless Summer and 8 at Beach Club, but would have loved to have split Beach Club with Wilderness Lodge. I think that if you are coming from the UK and you do not get to come very often, I don't know if you're able to do once a year, every 2, every 5. I think you working in a split stay with Universal is a wonderful idea.
Absolutely.
Also, for me personally, I think going from Universal to Disney after is much better than doing Disney first and then Universal.
Absolutely.
Especially when you've got Endless Summer, which is a wonderful resort and we love it.
Yes.
But it'd be tough to go from Beach Club to Endless Summer. So I think the way that you're doing it is really, really smart.
Absolutely.
If you would have loved to have done Beach Club and Wilderness Lodge, that depends on if you then are going to stick that entire time to Disney. Then yes, I think that's a wonderful option. But if you're talking about going, well, we're going to split between 2 Disney resorts, but we're still going to do Universal parks half the time, I personally think it's more worth it just to stay at Universal.
I agree. 100%.
I don't think the commute is worth it.
I agree.
There's always, look, Universal's resorts are awesome.
Yeah.
And their values destroy Disney's.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
In both what they offer and their cost.
Absolutely.
Their costs are certainly starting to rise as well. But, you have all these people that think that Universal's resorts are going to take away from Disney's resorts while people are still going to Disney parks. I just don't see that being a huge percentage.
Yeah.
And if somebody does it, I could see them at the end going, oh, man, that commute each day just wasn't the best. It wasn't as convenient. I'd much rather stay at, Pop Century and hop on a Skyliner or get on a bus to go to the parks than be at Endless Summer, maybe save a few bucks and then have to Uber or figure out a shuttle or drive because then you're paying for parking once you get to the Disney resorts. So how do you feel, though, about split stays in general?
With that long and the way
our split
is
stays are
doing it?
like 2 nights and 1 night or 1 night, 1 night, 1 night.
Yeah.
Ours are not the split stays you want to do.
Correct. Ours is not worth the while.
No.
Yours, absolutely, Alice, is 100%. And if I did a split stay like that, absolutely, I would be fine. Or if I did a split stay with Beach Club and Wilderness, I would absolutely do that too. And here's the reason. If you're doing, let's just say you're doing 5 nights at Wilderness and then you were going to transfer to Beach Club, depending on that day and everything, I would just let Disney take care of everything and take your luggage and do everything, because then you're going to be another 8 nights at Beach Club. And then I would put your, put your days and be like, all right, well, we're going to stay at the resort this entire day and we're going to do this and we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
biggest thing with split stays, as far as if you're staying within the same property, as far as like Disney, you're staying on Disney, you're splitting between 2 Disney resorts. As you said, let Disney handle your luggage, but always make sure you pack a day bag.
Yes.
Because if you decide that, let's say you were going from Wilderness to Beach, you're going to get over to Beach and you're going to immediately, maybe if it's the weather's good, you're there during the hotter months, which is most of Florida year round. You want to go to the pool. Yeah. If you didn't wear your bathing suit over there, you might be in a little bit of trouble because you don't know when your luggage is going to show up to your room. So you pack a day bag with any essentials, medications, change of clothes, your bathing suit, whatever you may need. Make sure that you have it in that day bag. You could get over to the resort at noon and your stuff doesn't show up in your room till 4 or something. So just make sure that you do that. But I think split stays, especially if you don't get to go very often and you're coming from, across the pond. Yeah. I think a split stay is wonderful, whether you're doing it all at Universal, you're doing it all at Disney, or you're doing it amongst both of them. You get to experience so much more bang for your buck during that trip. Yes. So, again, like we said, for us, a split stay has been 1 night at Wilderness Lodge, then 1 night at Pop Century, then 1 night at Endless Summer. That's a nightmare. Yeah. Like, don't do that unless you're just forced to, pretty much, because that gets super crazy. All right, we're going to move on to Tara. She says, I have friends going to Universal with boys who love superheroes and Harry Potter. So she has a couple questions. First one, what are your favorites in each category of ride, snack, quick service meal, table service meal and experiences at Universal. All right, so let's start with ride. What is your favorite ride at Universal Orlando Resort?
Gringotts on the studio side.
Over Velocicoaster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't mind Velocicoaster, but again, it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah, I could see it being one of
I
those.
have to wear my patch, so
Yeah, I could see it being one of those where you go, you know what? I'm just not ready for Velocicoaster today, but you could do Gringotts at any time.
absolutely.
I mean, similar to, not that Rock and Roller Coaster is in comparison at all, or Everest, but I could see you going, you know what? I'm good doing Cosmic Rewind today, but maybe not a Rock and Roller Coaster.
Right.
But you could always do Cosmic. You could always do Gringotts. I think those are comparable enough to each other.
Yeah.
Velocicoaster for me. I think that was just apparent. I mean, I do think I can do it every time. It is Tower of Terror-ish to me, though, where I still get kind of butterflies in my stomach right before we board.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think that's what makes it so exciting. And I still feel like I could fall out, which is also what makes it super exciting.
Lord.
Snack. I'm going to be 100% honest. We don't really snack
The
at
kids
Universal.
love the pretzels, though.
Yes. And
Or
the churros are
chips.
better.
Yep.
The churros are certainly better than at Disney World.
Uh-huh.
Pretzels are better at Disney. I'm sorry. Yes, I said, okay, sorry. Churros are better than Disney World, but I think Disney World pretzels are better than Universal's.
Okay.
And the girls agree with that as well. But I
Okay.
think those are good go-to snacks. They also love the ices
Oh, of course.
that you can get in the refillable mugs
yes.
if you buy a refillable mug.
Yeah,
So
that's
really,
nice.
really good tip is to go ahead. You got friends with boys, tell them to go ahead and get the refillable mugs, one for each of them. And you're going to get all the sodas, all the ices and everything they can
Absolutely.
have. What is your favorite quick service meal?
Honestly, I can pick between either one. 3 Broomsticks or Leaky Cauldron.
Yeah.
I really like them both. I think they pretty much have similar
Very, very
stuff. I do like the 3 Broomsticks just because we're
I like the atmosphere there better.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think I think you're gonna be fine at either one. We've always enjoyed the food there. I haven't eaten here since we went on Kaylin's 5th grade trip. She's now in 9th grade, but I'm actually gonna pick the Thunder Falls Terrace over in Islands of Adventure there,
Nice.
right next to Reign of Kong. I don't know if it's changed much the menu, but they had like chicken and ribs, smoked chicken and ribs. The girls had gotten that I was chaperoning, and they all loved it. I got a bowl, like a rice bowl with like grilled chicken and veggies. That was really good. I'd like to get back there. We actually usually sit outside there because that's the stopping point where the kids get an icy, they get a churro or a pretzel, and we go sit at the tables right outside there.
Yeah.
Talk about table service. What is your favorite table service? And this could be amongst studios, islands, or City Walk.
Oh.
What would you go for?
I think I'd still pick Mythos.
Mythos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful pick. How do you feel about Mythos, though, if you're taking kids? I mean, we took Kaylin, and she did enjoy it, but she can tend to be a little bit different sometimes than other kids that are younger. I would say I really liked Confisco Grill.
Yeah, that was good.
I love Mythos. I'm going to throw it out there. I think to appease everyone in your party, all ages, all tastes, Cowfish has something for everybody.
That's true. And the way it is, the atmosphere and everything too, very fun and family kid oriented. Yeah.
So, and like I said, I mean, you could have a plain eater who can just get little burger sliders or a little burger. And you could have very adventurous people that are getting all the kinds of sushis and their crazy burgers with like figs on top and things like that. So her next question is, what would your plan be staying on site at a top tier resort, so they have Express Pass, Thanksgiving week with 2 park days, only a 1-night stay? She said this is super specific, so if it's not great for the pod, I get it, but please someone help me. Get there as early as you can on day 1 to your resort, because you're going to have to check in so that they can give you your room key card, even if your room's not ready, which is going to include your Express Pass.
Yes.
And then make sure you take advantage of it the second day as well, because you have Express Pass all day of check-in, all day of check-out, even if you're just staying the 1 night.
Correct.
I mean, to be 100% honest, I'm going to probably go ahead and rope drop or take advantage if they have the extra time in the morning with your resort at Islands of Adventure first, and I'm going to go straight to Hagrid's because that's not going to fall under Express Pass.
Correct.
Then going to go to Velocicoaster.
Yep.
Knock those 2 out that don't have Express Pass, and then, to be honest, just work your way around the parks the rest of the day with Express Pass. It's going to save you a ton of time.
Yep.
And we tell people book one of the legacy hotels.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a lot more, because of the fact it includes Express Pass, and it's still going to be cheaper than if you get a room at Endless Summer and buy Express Pass for everyone in your party.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then, Rhonda, what would your tips be for traveling to theme parks during the busy holiday times that are approaching? Anything specific that you think helps? I mean, other than kind of going over, get Express Pass. I mean, would you recommend Genie Plus at Disney World? I mean, during these busy holiday times?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
We might have to get it when we're at Christmas. We'll see.
I bet we will. I bet when we're actually at Disney for Christmas, like literally Christmas, we'll probably look at booking it. We are looking at getting the girls 3-day passes since they don't have annual passes anymore. And then tagging on Genie Plus. I guess it'll depend. I could see us doing it on Christmas Day when we plan to do Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would possibly do it when we go to Epcot. And I could see us getting it on our Hollywood Studios Day.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see how that goes. But Express Pass, Genie Plus, take advantage of them.
Yes. I
think rope drop, break in the middle of the day, close out parks.
Yeah.
Can certainly help. Just know everything. And I think the biggest one.
Okay, that's easier said than done.
I mean, I know it is, but
you know everything.
I think the biggest one that we say all the time is set your expectations properly.
Yes.
You know it's going to be busy. You know there's going to be holiday crowds.
Yeah.
So don't go in with the mindset of we have to do everything.
Right.
Go with the mindset of let's see what we can accomplish. And we know it's just going to be great because we're here with our family. We're here with our friends. It's the holidays.
Right.
Just enjoy that. Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are my two favorites as far as decor goes. Make sure if you're over at Universal Orlando side, definitely check out the Macy's Parade. It is wonderful during the holidays.
Yeah.
The Grinchmas is outstanding. So make sure that you catch those and plan those accordingly to your trip. But the expectation thing, I think, is key.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to Christy. And this almost is a little bit similar. It says, when have you seen the lowest amount of crowds at the parks? When would you suggest visiting to avoid the biggest crowds?
I still will go back to Mother's Day weekend. I think, again, I always like to say, I think because, when you're at Disney World and you have children, depending on the age, like, I guess you would have to help your significant other.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you're like, no, I want the day off,
Yeah, you don't go to Disney is what we found.
Yeah, I do feel like it's very low.
Yeah,
Lower.
Usually, and we experienced this recently, the week or two following Labor Day weekend tends to be slower because pretty much every school in the U.S. is back. I will say usually, and I'm putting usually in front of all of these because the trends have not been the same in the past 2 years.
Correct.
Prior to COVID, when it was very different. Usually the first 2 weeks in December.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tend to be a bit slower. Usually you can fit in a week between Marathon weekend in January and Martin Luther King weekend. What I would stay away from, a couple things to look at, any holiday weekend. Okay?
Yes.
If you got a money, you got a Columbus Day, an MLK Day, a President's Day, all of these, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I would look to stay away from those. Another one I would look at is know your northern breaks. They have up north, there's Jersey Week. There's ones in New York. They have extra weeks off throughout the year through schools that like we don't experience in Florida.
Yeah, isn't there one like a ski week or something?
Yeah, I think so. Mardi Gras. A lot of people that live in New Orleans want to get out of New Orleans during Mardi Gras. They come to Disney, so not a great time to go. Also, look up the Wide World of Sports at ESPN schedule.
Yes.
Look for cheerleading competitions.
Yes.
Look for football competitions. They'll usually a lot of times be one and the same. Look for when competitions are going on there. Those often don't affect the parks as much as they affect the resorts, specifically the value resorts.
Yes.
So if you're saying, all right, we want to go during this week and we're going to stay at Pop Century, check that calendar.
Yes.
If there's a competition at Wide World of Sports, I would look at changing resorts or changing when you go. So those are probably the best times to look at. I highly recommend you look at the different crowd calendars, touring plans, WDW Prep School. They do very good with their crowd calendars. They tend to be very accurate. I would download the Touring Plans Lines app and I would subscribe for the year. It's like $15. You can go in, you can set the date you're looking at, look exactly at what they're expecting as far as crowds go, and usually determine upon there. But normally what we just said tends to be true, even though things have been a little bit different lately. All right, next we're going to move on to Rebecca, who says, what time do they cut people off from entering the line for a ride at the end of the night, specifically for the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party? Can you get in line a minute before park closing? She said, thanks for all you do.
Oh, thanks. I do believe so.
Yeah, it's going to go the same way the parks go during regular hours. Yeah. You know, as long as you're getting in the queue, you're entering that prior to park close time. You will be okay. And you will ride. And it's a great time to ride. It's also a really good time for character meet and greets.
Yes, it is. They actually, it's so funny because I don't know why and how, but those are also your shortest waits when you're able to do that, because I don't know how or what they do, but it's they want to go home. So it seems like it goes a lot faster.
It almost does seem that way. And you know, we met Jack and Sally the one time. I think we got in line about 5 minutes before close. It was on the way out.
And we didn't get out till almost 12:30.
Yeah. But I will say this, and we're not saying, hey, show up to every ride every night 1 minute before close so the cast members have to stick around longer.
Right.
But it certainly is something that needs to work into your plan sometimes when there's a must do.
Right.
So yes, you can go ahead and do that.
Like you have to pick that one, obviously.
Yeah, that one character, that one ride. Right. A lot of people will use this for Rise of the Resistance. Over at Hollywood Studios. They'll get in line about 5 minutes prior and experience very short waits.
Flight of Passage.
Yeah, Flight of Passage would be another big one. Kendra asks, are they banning strollers? Kendra, so there is a certain, I can't remember the name of it, and honestly don't particularly want to promote it. I know that they do it from a humor-based level, but they're a very large account on TikTok that loves to spread false rumors that then make their way around the internet and social media. Most recently, they did one that after the 50th, they were tearing down the Cinderella Castle. And people were freaking out, and people were reporting on it.
People are actually believing that.
You know, you never know.
Okay.
And this one, banning strollers, I get. You know, they put a restriction on strollers not that long ago.
I could understand this one too, because Disney got all these really beautiful Minnie and Mickey strollers. So, and they sell little single strollers. So yes, I could
partner with Scooterbug, who rents strollers specifically.
Then yes, I could see completely.
This one I totally get, but no, Kendra, they're not banning strollers. What I will say is, if you want news that is going to be accurate, make sure you're in the Main Street Magic community, because if they were banning strollers, we will certainly report on it from a reputable source. The Main Street Mouse is one of our go-to news sites. Scott and Michelle do a great job of, you know, vetting and doing the actual news. And I would follow at Scott Gustin on Twitter and at Ashley Carter on Twitter. Those two news sources are the most reliable. They get it straight from Disney if something is happening. So if you want the most updated and reliable news, I think those are a couple of really, really great sources.
He's the one that you started texting or whatever.
Scott?
With. Yeah.
Oh, he's my go-to for everything. As soon as the day we heard about the cruise line was dropping testing for COVID, starting literally with the day of our cruise, I went right to him and was like, Scott, I need help. It's a little confusing. And he laid it out. And then 8 hours later, it was straight from Disney's mouth. And it was exactly what he said, because he had spoke to a Disney rep specifically.
That's amazing.
So Jason asked, what is each of your go-to Disney karaoke songs? All right, let's just say we're going to a karaoke bar. It's a Disney theme night. You're going to get up there. You're going to sing. What would be your go-to song?
Probably I feel like I could say almost pretty much anything of Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Or Beauty and the Beast.
You go with any single one. What specifically would stick out though?
Party Over Your World, but I can't sing. So Under
that's
the
what
Sea.
I would go the route. I'd go the route of probably like You're Welcome from Moana.
Yeah.
Because I mean, The Rock does a tremendous job in that, and I didn't know he had a singing voice. And there's certainly singing parts, but it also has a little bit more of, I'll just call it hip hop, and talking that I think I could potentially pull off, because I can't sing either. And I think that would just be a really fun one that you'd like get a crowd into.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my go-to.
Okay.
Anything like that. I'm trying to think of some others.
Under the sea.
Yeah. I could do that. If we could do Kiss the Girl, and then I'll do the back. I can do the backup, the yeah part, because you love when I do that when that song comes on in the car.
Really.
And I belt that out at the top of my lungs. Matthew, and I think this will be an interesting question for us, and we would love input in the community from everybody else. Matthew asks, is DVC worth it?
I mean, I'm going to say yes, because Kat and Michael got DVC, and Amy and Chuck, and
we know a lot of DVC
We know a lot of DVC folks, and I would say yes. I don't know if it would be for us yet, and if we ever did, I mean, I don't know. Because I would tend to think I would take that money and buy a house very close to Disney so that we could go, and then we could take our dogs.
Yeah.
And then, eventually if we do live down there like Scott and Michelle.
This is one where, not being DVC owners, I think it's easy to say, for me, it'd be like Victoria and Albert's. Is Victoria and Albert's worth it? If you have the money, yes.
Yeah.
And I think DVC can be the same thing. If this is something that can work into your budget and your finances, yes. For us, it has never come to that point. Now, a lot of people are probably sitting back and going, you guys go to Disney once a month, you stay on property. You could easily have traded that out and bought a lot of points for DVC. You're right. The difference is that's not going to mean that we can go and use DVC once a month.
Right.
So therefore, we would have to find contracts or buy the amount of points that we could leverage that says, all right, we're going, 4 or 5 times a year on DVC, but the other 6 and 7 times, 8 times, we're just paying, cash for the room.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't found that balance. It's something that we still would love to do at one point. What I think we would do is we would buy enough points at just say our favorite resort, like a Wilderness Lodge, where we could say, you know what, we have enough points where we know we can go every Christmas for 3 or 4 nights. That's the amount of points we're going to buy. Every other month, we're just going to do regular rooms.
Yeah.
If you're going to Disney, we've got friends like Christina and Joel who go every other year, and they bought the perfect amount of points where they can go for like a full week.
Right.
They can get like a 1 or 2 bedroom at Animal Kingdom Lodge. They bank their points, for the following year. It works out so perfectly for them, and they're never spending more. That technically, if they bought 10 years ago, that room in theory cost the same as it did 10 years ago today.
Right.
And therefore very, very makes it worth it. And I think DVC is for those folks that are going, 3 to 4 times a year or less.
Mm-hmm.
And, Kat and Michael do an incredible job of making use of their DVC points. I mean, Kat, is kind of like a hawk looking over where the best deal is, booking something to have something, but knowing that she can wait list and move around. And so it's another one too, where you really need to understand the system, how to use it, when to book, where to book, all those types of things.
100%.
You can even look at buying at Vero Beach or Hilton Head, knowing that still at 7 months out, you might be able to book a Saratoga, a Key West, a Boardwalk, even though your home resort isn't even at Disney World. So I think it's definitely one of those things that if your finances and your budget allows, it's going to be 100% worth it to you. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Jill asks, can you pack me in your suitcase for the cruise? Jill, I apologize. We got this question so late because I don't think you can make it here in time by tomorrow for us to throw you in a suitcase. Also, we packed our suitcase. We packed everything.
Yep.
I mean, literally at the end, I threw a full suit in top of the suitcase because I was like, why not? Might want to get a little fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting around the other day and I was like, wait, are there limits like an airline?
And I wouldn't think so, but there is.
So I looked it up. There is, same as airline. 50-pound limit on your bag. You can check up to 2 bags. You have a carry-on item and a personal item, just like an airline. So I went and weighed the suitcase, and it was about 57 pounds. So I had to get a duffel bag, and I removed about 15 pounds of like my clothing and shoes and stuff, put them in the duffel bag. We're all good to go.
Which is good because I need to put my hairdryer and flat iron in the bag too.
Here's the thing. Why is there a weight limit? Because
I don't know.
All right, we had a 57-pound bag, right? We now have a 40-pound bag and a 17-pound bag. So how much weight is still going on the ship?
You can put more in it. I mean, that's
but how much weight is going on the ship in 2 bags as
know.
opposed to 1? 57. Whether it's in 1 suitcase at 57 pounds or it's in 2 suitcases at 57 pounds, it's still 57 pounds. And technically, it takes up more space. I've never understood that.
Well, there's, I think they're thinking it'll be 100 pounds, period.
So anything under is better, but it still does it. The math is
I don't know.
There's zero reason for me to split it up. That's all I'm saying. All right. Lindsay says, if you could only visit one Universal park, adults only, for a day, which one would you choose and why? They're trying to decide for their upcoming trip. Would you pick studio side or island side?
I'd just get a park hopper.
That's not the question.
Oh, well.
You got to pick one. Adults only.
Adults only? I mean, I guess islands.
I would too. Velocicoaster, Hagrid's. You've got Confisco, which I think is a great spot to sit and have a lunch. You got Backwater Bar, great place to get a drink. Hulk. I mean, I'm thinking of Spider-Man. Like, I'm thinking of a little bit more. I assume adults, and I assume they may want some of those thrill rides.
Yeah.
Okay, it depends on how your day's going. What's your touring plan? I think if your touring plan is to ride rides and do some of the best out of both parks, you do islands.
Yeah.
If your plan is to have a little bit more of a chill, sit down and eat, grab snacks, get drinks, kind of relax, then I think it's studio side. What do you think?
Sure. I would just get park hopper.
Rhonda's answer is to not Rhonda's answer is to not answer the question.
No, I mean, okay.
So, okay, well,
Park
Lindsay,
hopper.
apparently just get a park hopper. Rhonda is willing to pay for your upgrades, apparently.
Oh,
it sounds like. No.
I am? Okay.
I mean, do you agree, though, if you're looking, it depends on what you're looking to do?
Yeah, yes, 100% too. Yeah. I mean,
if you're not a thrill seeker, don't do island
Studios
side.
does have more to me of that 3D stuff where
you're doing Fallon, you're doing Gringotts, you're doing Transformers.
Right, which
if you want to laugh
be...
and wonder why, do Fast and the Furious Supercharged. That's on studio side.
But a lot of that might also be unfortunate, like motion to some people.
Yeah.
Like some people can do thrill rides and roller coasters all day long, but you put them in a little ride with some 3D and that kind of stuff, and they're like, nope, can't do it. So then, yes, 100% islands. And yeah, studios.
No, that's a good point. I mean, it does come down, and these are why I love these questions, though, and we hope to provide multiple answers. A lot of times you see in the Facebook group, and you say, you see somebody post, and they go, what are the best things to do for a 10-year-old?
Yeah.
And usually you kind of want to say, well, what's your 10-year-old like?
Right.
And so I think that's the same thing here. All right, so what's the best park to do for adults? What are the adults like?
Right.
Thrill seekers? Islands. Love 3D simulators? Studios.
Yep.
Looking to do as many rides possibly, probably island side.
Yeah.
Looking to have a little bit more of a relaxing time, eat, drink, studio side.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, motion sickness, stay on island side. So I really think it comes down to those. I will say either one, if you're in one of the parks that you choose and you want a midday break, head out to City Walk, get a drink, get something to eat. Of course, Cowfish, Vivo is wonderful. You can get pizza out there. There's some great quick service. Get yourself a donut at Voodoo, all those types of things. All right, last question for this round, and we'll answer the rest in our part 13 overall. Abby asks, what are your top 3 items on your bucket list for this Disney cruise?
I have no idea. I saw that. Jeremy actually let me look at the questions before we answered them so I could kind of get my brain wrapped around it. And I saw this and I was like, I don't even know where to begin. I really don't. To get on the boat?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's step one.
Step one.
For me is I want to enjoy the 3 restaurants, the World of Marvel, the Arendelle, and the 1923.
Of course.
I want to make sure that we knock out all 3 of those. Number 2 for me is relax.
Okay.
And
I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm going to try my best. And number 3 for me is to make memories. And I know those aren't specifically tied to the ship, but
right.
I think those are kind of my 3 items. Like this is something we've never done.
Okay. How about this one? Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. Go ahead. Finish.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, how about this? To go and see everything on 14 decks. There are 14 decks on this boat.
That's crazy.
And there's, I believe, if I remember I was looking at it a couple times yesterday. There is something on every deck. So, like, that's just, and then I was like, so is it like 14 stories? Like, is one deck a story, or is it bigger than that?
Yeah, because you have all the below deck stuff where the cast members stay, where
Yeah.
the crew is, where the, well, I guess the same thing, where all the mechanics, I mean, everything are. So,
I know.
I mean, this thing's massive. Yeah, I just, you know, we've had, I will say in the past couple months, we've had some of our best Disney trips ever.
Mhm.
Like, we've had some incredible trips, but in a lot of ways, they can often blend together, you know, and this is something we've never done. You know, this is going to be one of those Disney firsts that we used to always talk about. This is, I think it's so neat to walk into something brand new that we've never seen. I have done minimal research and looking up because I want surprises. I don't want to see what everything looks like. I don't want to see what every menu is. As somebody who plans a lot, it's very weird.
It is weird.
But I want to be surprised. I want to walk in to one of the bars. I want to walk into Hyperspace Lounge and go, wow, I'd only seen one still of this that was a promotional photo. Look at it. Not like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. I watched a full walkthrough, you know, like.
Yeah, but it's still, I think, gonna be in person so much grander.
Oh, I know it will.
And see, that's where I think I was trying to, like, I kind of want to know things. I want to know where things are. I want to try, because
that's what we have Lucy for. She can be our tour guide because
Poor
she's
Lucy.
looked up everything.
Don't put
but
this
but that's her
on
style.
her.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what she does.
I'm sad that this is our first, because I just want to stare at my children's faces.
I know.
They have never been on a cruise. This is their first cruise.
And they haven't done anything Disney since February.
Correct. And I have honestly kept forgetting they're going because they don't have Disney stuff.
Right.
And I just keep thinking we're going to Disney, not that we're like going on this awesome boat and giant boat and cruise and everything. And I know that we want to book one before we get off, another one. And I think it's going to be funny to go, girls, do you want to go with us on this next one?
They've already said yes. I've already asked them.
Oh, you
We haven't
did?
even been on this cruise. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
But see, that's where I just want to stare at my children, because I feel like I haven't seen them like be so like
Excited?
wow, or just, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Or I don't know. I feel like nothing's really wowed them recently.
Right. Well, I think that's where that making memories thing comes from, is truly take
100%.
that time.
100%.
One of my other bucket list items is to be able to find the way back to our room on my own just once. This ship is so much bigger than the one cruise we did. And even after the third or fourth or however many days we're on there, I could not find my way back to the room.
You're funny.
Like, you walk in there,
I
feel like it's
fine.
like a horror movie where you walk in and you're like, everything looks the same. No matter what floor I was on, what hallway I was on, everything looked the same.
Okay.
What's going to help is that you ordered, was it Etsy?
Yes.
But you got big magnets on there. One says Main Street Magic, The Wish. We've got a cool Captain Stitch that looks like he's peeking out from kind of the side of the door.
Super
So
cute.
that will help us a lot. But so we're gonna end on that bucket list for your cruise. I specifically did that. So again, you could be listening to this. We're either on the cruise or we're heading down there. Super duper excited. Again, for all that information, make sure you're following us on social. We will be posting all next week what we experienced, all the content. Even more will be going on at wonderlandcrew.com. That is our Patreon group. Go ahead and hit subscribe. You get those brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We look forward to answering a bunch more questions on the next episode. Go ahead while you're out there. Please, we would love if you could leave us a rating and review,
because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.